Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
Good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of your regular program on Western Spring Television. We call it Pertinent Questions. On this show every Monday, we try to look at issues, bring in a guest, and ask him very pertinent questions concerning a particular field. This week, I am your alternate host, because two of us present this program once every week. This is my turn. Femi Adefila will come your way next week, and that is how it has been since we started nearly 1 year ago. Mathematics is a field of study that tends to threaten the academic life of many students. Many, including this man when he was a student, dreaded that subject very, very well. Why do students tend to fear mathematics? Why is the course of study a no-go area for many, many Nigerian students? What can be done to tame this threat to intellectualism? The questions are many, and we will ask them, and somebody in the studio will provide the answers. My guest is a mathematician to begin with, in fact, a professor of statistics. From the Department of Statistics, University of Ilorin, we have brought him right into the television studios of Western Spring Television. Ushubu. He is the man who will dissect for us whatever are the challenges, the nitty-gritty. Why do people don't want to learn? Are they sufficiently committed to it, etc., etc.? Professor Waheed Babatunde Yahya, PSSN, we will talk about that later, is here in the studio to be asked some very pertinent questions within the framework of the subject mathematics and its related fields. Professor Yahya is currently on sabbatical at the Nasarawa State University, Kefi. He is a national president of Professional Statisticians Society of Nigeria, and he is the chairman board of governors Nawaruddin Grammar School, because he's an old student. He doubles as the president of the Alumni Association of that grammar school. I must say that Professor Yahya was a member of the 2023 Osun State Education Summit the governor convened sometime in April or so. Prof, you are most welcome.
Thank you
very much indeed to Western Spring Television.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me, moderator.
Mathematics is what I want to do. I want to write. I want to speak it because I was lazy in mathematics myself.
That's good.
I want Nigerian students to understand mathematics.
Okay.
And that's why we have brought you in here.
Yeah.
Therefore, you permit me, if I ask you innocuously, what is mathematics? Is it a science subject, a merely related science subject? And what is statistics, which is your own field?
Thank you very much, the moderator, for having me in the studio. Mathematics is a science subject, as it were. And of course, when you read mathematics in university, in some climb, you are regarded as an engineer.
Okay.
Yeah, that tells you the depth of what goes into mathematics training and what goes into training a mathematician. Statistics is an aspect of mathematics, so to speak, because that deals with a special area where data collection is the
focus.
the focus. Yes, it's the focus majorly, and of course, it takes the application of a lot of methodologies using the data that you may have before you. So, mathematics, statistics, they are interrelated when it comes to the advanced modeling and the structure, the way it is structured. So these days, mathematics, yes, stand alone. Statistics stand alone because of the volume of
the body of language, the body of knowledge.
The body of knowledge that's under each of these separate subjects. So
good.
Thank you.
Is mathematics a difficult subject to learn? And if so, why then do so many students run away from it?
Well, really, mathematics is not a difficult subject, as it were. But what we discover over years is that there's this phobia of mathematics.
You call it phobia?
Phobia of mathematics.
The fear of mathematics.
The fear of mathematics.
Okay.
And what brought this fear is basically about perception. How people perceive the teaching, the training of mathematics. So, and when you already made up your mind that this concept is very difficult, even if you are potential brilliant students, the phobia may deter you from even listening to the proper training procedure for you to be able to. So by these days, what we normally tell our teachers and what we practice these days is that to bring mathematics to the doorstep of our students. We are using live examples they can see to demonstrate most of these applications. What is the X, Y, Z? What do they mean in the real sense of it? And then how can you now explain this in a language that the student
a kind of extrapolation.
Can understand, yes. Can understand,
I want to take you on your own. You're a product of, we will come to that sooner. You're a product of Nawaruddin.
Grammar school.
When, this was the years between when and when? You were a pioneer student.
1980.
1980.
Yes.
You were 85.
85, yeah.
Were you a student known for mathematics then?
Well, yes and no. Yes, because we were unlucky at initial stage not to have mathematics teachers.
Okay.
So you may not really even discover yourself as whether you are good in mathematics or not.
Okay.
So but later we were lucky again to have one when we were moving to Form 3 then.
Okay.
So that really revolutionized the teaching of mathematics and make it so interesting to us. So then, there and then, some of us took interest in it. The phobia was naturally removed from our mind, and that was the spirit with which we wrote our work. Then that landed us in the good result.
Okay. Beyond the fear, in your own case, I'm still talking to you about the young man Wahid, in then go way back in 1985. Apart from the fear, what was your own perception? Because you used the word a short while ago.
Yes. Well, ordinarily, I never perceive mathematics as a difficult. So I, as a person, I never perceive mathematics as a difficult. If I had that perception, maybe that would have affected me during the time I was there, receiving training in mathematics. But since I fell in love naturally with mathematics, maybe because of the teacher that was taking us there. Because
for the first few years, we didn't have a teacher until class 3.
We had one where they are not really...
Maybe higher school set, man who teaches...
So really, it's like they were teaching mathematics as if they were teaching just another subject. So really, we don't really have any challenge in a way until that new mathematician was brought in to take us on. And so then we knew that there were a lot to learn. And in the way of learning it, there's no remove the fear. But then this fellow, I don't want to mention his name now, is still alive, still Hajai. We even invited him when we have our first alumni day. And our that's my another teacher there. So
you gave him a pet name. Okay, go ahead. Since you don't want to mention the name.
Yeah, it was very good to us. And really removed the fear by the methodology adopted to teach us. He knew we lagged behind because it's like the first 2-3 years, we didn't learn much. So he used a series of methodologies to bring the teacher of mathematics to us and make it more friendly. So some of us fell in love naturally with it.
Okay, that's many years ago. Now in contemporary times, how have our teachers, particularly in secondary school, been leveraging on this to make the teaching of the subject very friendly, as you have said?
Well, let me say this. I happen to be a student of NCE. I studied mathematics and geography then.
At the NCE level?
At the NCE level. When it was time for me to do my teaching practice, I chose to do it in my alma mater, Navarro Grammar School. So I worked myself there because I knew that the institution has changed again. They didn't have a mathematics teacher. That was in the early 90s. So I tried to ensure that I started the curriculum with the students, few of them that were there. There was this principal, late Elijah Deku, of blessed memory. So we ensured that I taught the students, I removed the phobia by using examples. That was very difficult because they never had mathematics teacher up to the time they were preparing for their mock exam. That was the exam before their final exam. So it was a very difficult something. So what I can say, based on my experience there, was that these days, one, some of the teachers in our secondary schools now, maybe because of the lack of teachers, they were not major teachers in mathematics. Someone that writes economics, for example, because of the lack of teachers in the secondary school, please take mathematics for us. There's no way such a fellow can take it the way it should take such a subject. So my appeal is just that the mathematics teacher, those that are trained in the field, should be the one that are teaching our students. And they should have this flavor of the methodology. Meaning that I should be the type that actually went through the educational procedures, have educational qualifications to take the student through the methodology of teaching of mathematics. By that, you make mathematics learning very friendly to our students.
From what you have said so far, I gather that a student, to be mathematically oriented, must have certain qualities. Could you tell us some of these?
The first thing is the preparedness. As a student of mathematics, you should be ready that I want to learn. The commitment must be there. Then there should be a way. What I mean, the necessary instructional material, the material, for example, the textbooks. These days, it's even better these days that we have online. There are a number of online textbooks, but in those days, we don't have access to such. But when students have textbooks, then there should be a sort of the spirit of self-training or self-learning should be there. As a student of mathematics that you really take interest, you should be ready to train yourself ahead of the class. That's the thing. So, and that's what makes some of us what we have today. You don't even wait for teachers to come to your class. Even at the institution, you already ahead of the class. You already have the content or what needs to be covered. Then by that, when the teacher comes, the challenges, of course, there could be teaching challenges, but you know that it's not the one that will weigh you down as to whether you understand the concept or not. So that's just the qualities.
For those of us like me who never liked mathematics, everything still looks extraordinary. Does the study of mathematics, does it take any special intellect to undergo?
Well, just like, just like another field. Just like another field. we have had students that are very good in hard subjects, and eventually he or she was the best in mathematics. Yeah, yes. Yes,
very few.
We are good few because of what we have just said earlier on, the level of commitment. Okay, the student must be committed. You must be ready. The mindset must be there. That I wanted to learn. So even if not mathematics, even any other course, any other subject rather, the mindset should be. Your mind must be ready to receive the message. If the mind is not there, there's no way you can receive the message and be able to retain it. So the major quality characteristics is that the mindset must be there, the readiness must be there. It doesn't really require the commitment. It doesn't really require special intellectual capacity or prowess, because the same brain. Well, just like for example, in secondary school, you are going to register for 8 subjects or 9, which may include even hard subjects. For example, the English is there, which is not mathematics. Okay, the same brain which you write English language and have a pass grade there. It is the same brain you are going to use to write a mathematics paper.
But there's you have a better understanding of what to do in, say, arts subjects, or even commercial-oriented subjects.
It butters on interest. It butters on interest. Like I just said, I've had examples of a student registering for literature, Islamic or Arabic, or CRK, and like that, and mathematics, English. Okay, he or she was good at all those subjects and happened to be the best in mathematics. So we all that's on the interest.
Generally brilliant, such a student.
Oh, okay.
Okay, what or how can the teaching be less tedious? You have mentioned some of them earlier, but this is where the crux of the matter is. It is some students sit in class and they are more or less blank. They don't understand what is being said. Perhaps, as you have rightly said, because they have not shown sufficient interest.
Yes.
But oftentimes, too, the methodology is wrong.
Yeah.
And so it makes the student completely out of.
When we talk about methodology, like myself, I was trained as a teacher. By the virtue of me having NC study for 3 years. Some were not that lucky. And they are in secondary school. So they could have a BSc in mathematics.
Yes, BSc in mathematics, but I never went to.
They never went through the educational training. So the way I would teach mathematics, if we were in the same school, the way I would teach some mathematics concepts, and such a fellow that never had that opportunity, that training, could differ. Okay. And what we advocate is one, apart from bringing using examples around the student to support their understanding, when you are teaching XYZ, like equation, whatever, let the student know where this equation can be applicable. Just like in economics, there are some concepts in economics that require XYZ too. But we let them know that, this is demand, this is supply, this is this. Bring that concept into the teaching of mathematics, and the student will be better for it, and they will learn better.
Okay. I think, I may be wrong, and you are an expert, you may correct me. I think there are certain characteristics a student should have to be able to excel in mathematics or mathematics-related
field. We have enumerated a few of them too earlier. As a student of mathematics, you know that you have a very big task before you, especially at the institution level. If you are enrolled to have a degree in mathematics or statistics, you know that you have a very big task before you to excel. But even at the secondary school level, it is not that tedious. You shouldn't be that tedious, other than to just read your general mathematics textbooks, work on some examples, related examples, review some past questions like that, and then of course do some teamwork together among your peers, and by that you are good to go. But in the higher institution level, the demand is more than that.
Okay.
I'll just talk about self-training.
Yeah.
A lot of things may not be said in the class. You have to discover all those for you by yourself and be a better person at it. So if you are just, you be like just a general student, then you have a general performance. So when you want to excel.
Today, general performance doesn't take you anywhere.
Of course, it depends on what you want.
Yeah.
So when you really want to excel, then you do something exceptionally well, beyond what is being given to you in the class.
This presentation is always in two parts.
Okay.
But before we move to the second part, I want you to draw a relationship between mathematics and statistics.
Yeah. Well, these are two broad fields.
Yes.
Mathematics. Let me describe it by this model, by models rather. When you talk about mathematics, you are talking about mathematics that a concept that is deterministic. Deterministic in nature.
Okay.
What I mean, you can say if my salary is X naira and my expenditure this number, then my expenditure could be this.
Yeah.
So if I give another example, if I pick another person of that possess similar characteristics, similar salary, number of a dependent, then his own expenditure, but maybe monthly expenditure should be this. But that doesn't work in statistics. That's why it's mathematics model. I mean, it cannot change. But when you have a statistics model that incorporates what you can call human variations. Okay, you can be earning less and be spending more. Whereas in the other concept, when you spend, your expenditure is proportional to your income. Whereas in the statistical model, which is a stochastic model that incorporates human behavior, human characteristics into it, you can earn less and spend more. So that can explain the difference between mathematics and statistics. There are more to it anyway. There are more than that.
The mathematician, therefore, is slightly different from the statistician.
Of course, because of what we do. Because of what we do.
Right.
Yeah.
But basically, you all come from the same.
We started together
from arithmetic.
Exactly. From arithmetic
to mathematics
to
further mathematics
to advanced mathematics. Let's call it that way.
Yeah. A young man wants you to differentiate between applied mathematics and.
We are talking about applied mathematics. I don't want to confuse our audience because applied mathematics is there in mathematics. Yeah, applied mathematics. It's also there in the mathematics training. There's a concept we call applied mathematics within mathematics. And what we do in statistics is also applied mathematics. Are you getting me, sir? Yeah. And because there are concepts within the mathematics, for example, we are talking about what to see how can you model like the construction of bridges, whatever. What are the components of instruments that are needed to do all this? That's applied mathematics. Okay, but within the statistical concept, we can still look beyond just looking at the instrument, the component, and look at what are the possible things that can cause variation that are not really budgeted for. Okay, you said you get this? Yeah. You can have your quotation. Yeah, you need number of rods, number of planks, number of cement, number of this. And that will work. Yeah. It may not really work. So you may need to have some component that you didn't even think of when you are doing the quotation. That is what we call variation. That can call, we call it random error. That can cause variation. That falls in the concept of statistics, which we are not necessarily be taken care of within the mathematical concept. Yeah.
At this dichotomy, you have tried to tell us. I would like us to pause a while for one or two messages. I have been, or rather, he has been in the studio with me discussing mathematics, and we are veering gradually. His name is Professor Waheed Babatunde Yahya. We will be back after this break. Thank you for being there and expecting us to return.
Arrested, affected, sound, found. What do we see? What do we say? Flowing from a spring. A fact A to Z. Check and confirm. Ever is pounding current events. Traveling down from the business gist to the globally arising happenings, to the sports news, to the bittersweet infos. Guided transmission, even diffusion, vast and fast, detailed facts are fled. Within seconds, nuggets of words that flew across borders are fired. Stories short and long, wrapped in bundles of words, broken and dissected as it is, except misheard. This is the news as it is.
Samuel Ladoke Akintola was a frontal figure in the historical moves that birthed an independent Nigeria from colonial Britain. As a freedom activist, he deployed his wits, energy, intellect, and oratory skills to prepare the grounds for constitutional talks that eventually culminated in the country's independence in 1960. The 13th Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land cut his teeth as a politician when he became a foundation member of Action Group, the dominant political party in the Western region, and was elected the party's parliamentary leader of opposition at the Federal House of Representatives. The crisis in the Action Group, which pitched Samuel Ladoke Akintola against his leader, was not only a sore point in his colorful political life, but a reversal of gains which characterized the exemplary leadership of Awolowo Akintola premiership. 23 years after his death, Oyo State University of Technology Ogbomoso was renamed Samuel Ladoke Akintola University of Technology to keep his memory alive. Western Spring Television identifies Samuel Ladoke Akintola as a major character in history.
Welcome back after the break. In the studio with me is a statistician, Professor Waheed Babatunde Yahya. He has been trying to tell us, the listener, the viewer at home, how much mathematics is not supposed to be a problem. But mathematics remains a problem for many Nigerians, and he has identified commitment and the personal drive and zeal to learn as one of those things that you need. I think he's right. I didn't have those things when I was a student, and so I didn't do well in mathematics. We're back on our second phase, and he was trying to give us the differences between mathematics and statistics. Well, he's better and competent to do that because he belongs to both ends. Something bothers me, and it is a release by statisticians like you recently. They told us the praying nations of this world, Nigeria is number 2. Afghanistan is number 1, the major praying nations. They also told us that China doesn't pray at all. So is Switzerland. But where I'm going is this fact that those who pray and pray and pray to God, they belong to what could be described as the failing states. Those who don't pray at all belong to the class where people are happy because everything works. You are a statistician.
Thank you.
In fact, a president of the society in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Any correlation between what you have just said?
Thank you very much, the moderator. Yeah. Praying is about godliness. And I want to say that godliness is a thing of the mind.
Yeah.
So if truly we practice what the religion, what the scriptures actually tells us, we don't need to kill ourselves in the mosque or kill ourselves in the churches before we are a better individual as we are. Because as the statistics have turned out, the not really praying nations, they are doing fine. But they are at peace with their God.
Yes.
They are at peace with their God. It's a matter of when you are praying, of course, we have turned it in our climb here to business venture anyway.
Okay.
So that is another thing entirely. So really, there's no correlation. Whether you are a praying nation, whether you are not going to be prosperous, no. It's a thing of the mind. You should be at peace with the God. Follow the tenets. Be nice to individuals. Be nice to your neighbors. And even those prophets. And then the Islamic or the Christian conjunction, what they used to describe their characteristics is their character, their behavior. Not the amount of time they spend in the mosque, or the amount of time they spend in the churches. That determines whether they are actually godly or whatever. So I don't want to use another word here. This is a scam.
So, what is a scam? What did you say is a scam?
I said I don't want to use it because of viewers may misinterpret that kind of a thing. When we are praying, that in this social where we are, you can count the number. You may not be able to count the number of churches we have or the number of mosques we have here. Okay. Yeah. We are not in this country you have mentioned, like China. Yeah. The number of churches that you can find there
is very minimal.
Very minimal. Yes, they face the reality. Okay. You have to be nice to your neighbor. You have to face the reality. You have to be good. You have to be industrious.
Hard work.
You don't have to be hard work. You don't have to be lazy.
Go to church early in the morning, on the Monday morning.
This kind of a thing is, to me, that I say is to organize this climb. I look at it as a scam. Okay. Even on Wednesdays, on Friday, you go on Sunday, on Monday morning again, on Wednesday again, on Wednesday, on Friday again. Then what time do you now have
to work?
And all this is going to affect our GDP as a people. So these are the kind of a thing that we really needed to look into without any contradiction.
With these statistics, can you appeal to Nigerians to learn from it?
Of course.
Yes,
of course.
And be more industrious. Rather than
I used to facilitate admission of some of our students, some of our applicants into my university. And when they resume afresh like this, I gather them in my office. I tell them, whether you're a Christian or you are a Muslim, it's not my problem. You are admitted here because you apply for a course. Yeah. Okay? Now, if you at the end of, you have to go to the class to receive lecture, or you are given an assignment to go and do, instead of you go to do that, you just go and bury your head in the mosque under different names, Dawa, whatever. Or you go to the church under Fiji, whatever, and you are expelled at the end of the first year. You are no longer a student.
And don't come to me.
So go and pray in simple way, then fix your study. That is what we need. Try to be hard work. If you are not hard work, you are not a hard working type, there's no way you can make it. You know, God is not he's not a dramatist.
Not a magician.
Not a magician. So it is what you put in, then the result you get at the end of the day.
Okay, on this second half of our production or presentation, we try to look outside the mathematical box. Yeah. Last Thursday, the Supreme Court declared finally that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a duly elected president of Nigeria. You are a Nigerian, you're an adult, you're a professor. Yeah. You teach students, even though you don't teach them politics. How did this come to you as a Nigerian and as an academic?
And as a critical stakeholder in the Nigerian project.
Okay, yes.
Because we teach students,
yes.
we produce graduates that will make life better for our society.
Supposedly.
Supposedly, yes. Well, I want to see this. Let me say this, sir, that the Constitution is very clear on this issue. I don't want to sound like a politician, but the facts have to be told. The Constitution is very clear. To occupy the highest position in this country, what you needed is evidence of passing through primary school, not even secondary school. Evidence of being able to read and write. Evidence. So you could be a secondary school there with F9s in all the next subjects that you
can read and write.
But it's when you can read and write, you are qualified. I just don't know why these views, why this much noise about this President Bola Ahmed Tinubu certificate. And incidentally, the Chicago State University actually admitted that this individual was with us as a student, graduated, had the result. What is the noise, again, all about in Nigeria? So to some of us, it's like...
politics.
It's a politics, but it's like, I use a word. It's like we lack some political maturity.
Okay.
Political maturity. When we are looking at this issue, and it's because of the vested interests, diverse vested interests that come into play along the line here.
Before I leave that realm, I want to ask you, was the battle really between opposition and the elected, or something, a quarrel between morality and the law?
Law, like I said earlier on, the law on this issue is settled.
Yes.
It's a settled case.
Yes.
But there is this moral aspect of it, yes. That at all costs, we just have to do it this way. At all costs, we just have to make noise this way. At all costs, we just have to make sin. Make noise where there's none. It's unfortunate that we find ourselves where we find ourselves, but I think we have picked one or two lessons from what happened as the outcome of the Supreme Court judgment. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, when the judges delivered and it favors me, I say, yes, the judiciary is the last hope of the common man.
When it doesn't.
When it doesn't, you now begin to now call the judges series of unprintable names. It's unfortunate that we are like this, dramatist.
And sometimes to magician.
Magician.
Okay. Well, this question is a question that touches you, not as a person only, but the clan you belong to. The president has waved the olive branch. Is it worth taking it by the opposition? And secondly, to you intellectuals, he has tried to waive the no work, no pay policy. And it's supposed to be paying you 4 months' salary. You are aware of it?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you reconcile this?
Well, there'll be a lot of discussions on this.
Okay.
And what our viewers and Nigerians should know is that as academics, we work 24 hours. We don't have time. This is the time you resume. This is the time you close. When it comes to academics, our duty is on tripartite tripod: the teaching component, the research component, the community service component. All these things we do simultaneously. Okay.
The community service, people don't see it much. We know you research, we know you teach.
Yes. Like I'm involved in community activities in my community.
Okay, all right.
Which you can attest to.
Yeah.
So, and it's at my own expense.
Okay.
All these things I do at my own expense.
President of
the Provisional Society of Nigeria, moving around to make things better for people. I involve my community service here in Osogbo here as a stakeholder and involved in so many activities.
Yes.
I'm a president of alumni body. I just had a meeting. We just finished a meeting just now before I came to
chairman
the
of the governing board.
Chairman of the governing board of the school. Monitor a lot of the projects that are going on in the school. So all these things we do. And even the research that one of the major components, we don't have a time like that from morning, maybe 8 a.m. in the morning till 5 p.m. My students do consult me, even in the midnight, anytime. The teaching component of it is just what people focus. And for those periods that were targets, they didn't work. It's not, it was a lie. It was a lie. When the student resumed, these students resumed, some of them are our children. The backlogs were cleared. These students have been graduated. We just had 37 and 38 sessions of convocation in my university, University of Ilorin just now. These are the students that we have worked, we have graduated, and they have obtained their certificates.
Okay, the government.
Then what is the issue?
The governor.
Of no work, no pay.
Okay,
we work, we are not paid.
Okay, the government says for a waiver for 4 months. Will this in future prevent strikes in the universities?
What really motivated strikes were never touched. Oh, it's unfortunate. They were never touched.
Okay.
It's not because the lecturers are interested in going for strikes. Are we happy going on strike always? No, that is not the issue. Okay, there are a lot of issues in terms of borders of infrastructural decadence. If you come to some of our lecture halls, see the way the students are receiving lectures and all these things, and then the welfare of lecturers. Okay. I want to tell you that the salary we have been receiving since 2009 is what we are still receiving in 2023.
Some 13 years after,
yes.
14.
And the salary of politicians, keep on increasing. The salary of the lecturer are still on the same spot till now. What is our offense?
You have no offense, but it's Nigeria that Nigeria has happened to you. Nigeria that
so
has
it's unfortunate.
Okay, let's. Time is not on our side. You are, as you said, you are a man for the community. One of your areas is being the alumni of Nawaruddin, and also the chairman of the board of governors. One of you has become a son.
Yes.
How did he have your input as president? That's on the jocular.
Thank you.
How do you assess that young man?
Yeah.
He was your junior when you were in school.
He was my junior in the secondary school. And since when we were there, we already saw the trait in him that it's going to happen that way.
Okay.
It's going to happen the way that happened to him.
Yeah.
This 2023.
Just as some people also thought it was going to happen to you because you're a mathematician.
Thank you very much.
The man he was a literature student. Was he good in mathematics? Don't think about it.
That I cannot, because it was not in my set.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay.
So I believe generally correlation biology was good, was very good, and produced by our. So you have to talk about input. Yes. Now the grammar school had a major input in what Conley Biology became today as a senior advocate of Nigeria, because he had this elementary training, secondary school training in our school.
Okay.
So and it's a pride to us.
Yeah, it's a pride. You are also a pride to them.
Thank you.
The two of you have reached the highest of your pinnacle.
We thank God.
You are a professor. He is a senior advocate. Well, I'd like to thank you very much and request that you keep on doing the community service.
Thank you very much, sir.
Many of your counterparts, we don't see them visibly doing community service as we see you do.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir.
And for responding to us in so short a time.
Thank you very much.
To the viewer at home, I have in the last nearly 45 minutes or so been in a homely chat with Professor of Statistics from the University of Ilorin, currently on sabbatical at Nasarawa State University, Professor Wahid Babatunde Yaya. It's been very interesting discussing mathematics with him and making him tell us the difference between the mathematician and the statistician. That's how far we can go on today's edition. There are so many things more to discuss, but then time is of the essence. Okay. Prof, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much for having me.
It is well.
Thank you, sir.
May we never have causes for strikes in the university again.
Amen.
That has been our package. That's been our story. Pertinent questions will come your way next week with Femi Adefila. I will go on a sabbatical and come back in 2 weeks' time.
No problem.
Thank you very much
you,
to the viewer at home. It's been a pleasure serving you. Goodbye for now.